Hi, I'm Tim Roehl. Let's talk about getting to reality in our transformational coaching. Now, in our GROW game plan, we talk about goal, reality, options, and will, and we're going to focus on the R in this coaching tip. The getting to reality can be thought of from several different vantage points. It's painting a picture. As you coach them, you are getting them to paint the clearest picture of reality that's possible. Another way I like to think of it is that we're going to tour the house, and so you step into their world, you ask them questions, and by the time you're done, you've pretty much made a tour of the whole situation. We also describe it as going layers deeper, and when we get to reality, we dig down and get the buried treasure underneath the obvious that's on the surface. So asking great reality questions is very important, and I want to encourage you, don't rush through this. Don't assume that as soon as they say something that you know what's really going on, because that's not often the case. And don't assume that they know exactly what's going on, because it's so easy to assume or to take your first impression or a perception and realize a little bit later that that's not reality at all. So great reality questions are gathering facts. There's three kinds of reality questions I like to encourage you to think about. First is just information questions. You're asking them to describe things to you in ways that help you both gather information, begins to put all the pieces of the puzzle, if you want to use another metaphor, on the table. There's awareness questions that lead that leader to discovery and insight. It's the aha or the oh moments that are so important. And then there's the whole action, the idea of asking action questions that move the leader forward in their thinking and their choices. So a couple of great reality questions that I love, or several of them. In what ways have you addressed this issue? Now, quite often when we ask that question from a closed vantage point, we say, have you thought about this? Don't ask questions like that. Ask an open-ended question that says, in what ways have you addressed this issue so far? You could ask questions like, what's working? What's not? There's also what I call the ministry of summarizing and clarifying. And so as they're describing something to you, the ability to simply and concisely repeat back to them what you've heard them say in a way that they go, yeah, that's what I was trying to say, is very helpful. My friend Keith Webb, who's a great coach and a great coach trainer, gave me this tip about what I call great commandment perspectives. We love the verse, what we call the Great Commandment verse, you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. And that forms a beautiful framework to walk around an issue and view it from a variety of different perspectives to become very helpful to get to reality. So you ask the question, what I call the heart questions. Love the Lord your God with all your heart. So you ask questions, heart questions, like, what has the Lord been saying to you? What kind of spiritual things are you thinking about? What's your gut telling you? They're intuitive questions. Soul questions are your mind and emotions. And so you're asking them how they're feeling about things. You're asking them how they're perceiving things. Mind questions are gathering information, the different viewpoints, the facts, the reasonable, logical, linear way of looking at a perspective. Strength is what kind of physical resources do you have? How's your health? How's your energy level? How much you're going to need to accomplish this thing? Things like that. And then there's that love your neighbors as yourself, part of the Great Commandment, so beautiful. I call it other shoes and other views. What I mean by that is to stop and say, now, what would your spouse say about this issue? What insight might they give us? Or what would some other leaders in your team give you? Who's some of your favorite mentors or other people in your life that might have spoken to you about this? What insights might they have to give us? Sometimes you even ask them, what are your children saying to you? But as you're walking around this issue, heart, soul, mind, strength, other shoes, other views, it's a beautiful, holistic way to get to reality. And when we get to reality, you're going to come to the place you say, now, is there anything else we need to know? What else do we need to know about this particular issue that's going to serve us? And when they say, no, I think that's the best picture where we're at, that's reality, then you'll know that you've reached a place where you can now move on to options. So, do the good work, do the hard work of asking great questions, listening well to get the leader you coach to reality.